Oh, this video we're going to talk about what is Tantra as it is related to what we are doing, which is the path of the Siddhas, which a Siddha is one who's a master of this path, this consciousness. And what we're doing here is we are entering an old story, which is really an old understanding, which my teachers would often call one of the original understandings. Right? Natives of different traditions call them the original instructions given to us by Creator. The Aboriginal call them the original song lines. And in this, we are recognizing and understanding that we are of the dreaming of the universe. We're not just star dust, we are the dust of the stars dreaming. We are the dream sand caught in the eye of the universe herself after she has awoken into the awareness of herself. That's a beautiful expression. And the potency and the magic of this journey that we are on here in the Ravens clan, which could be called the Spiders clan, is that it will take these pretty metaphors and offer you a felt experience of their meaning. And that's what we're leaning into here. See, we are on an old tantric path that has been passed down through these lineages, through time. And by Tantra, of course, we're not referring to how the West has distorted the idea of Tantra as being sexual practices, right? That's like calling Mary Magdalene a prostitute instead of the inspired partner of Jesus. See, Tantra in our tradition, Tantra is this recognition that duality is just a play, is just a dance within the singular ocean of consciousness herself. Tantra invites us to hold all things, all people, all experiences with equal regard. What this means on a practical level, and as it relates to our focus, is that all of your experiences, both negative and positive, are helping you, are contributing to you mature into your potential, which you already are. And hence, positive and negative experiences are equally valuable, holy, and beautiful. There's a state that we are cultivating, which is called equanimity, which is to hold all things with equal regard. Now, on a deeper level, that is key to the work that we are doing here is that Tantra shares everything, every thought, every tree, every person, every bird, every emotion, every mountain, every dream that you have. It is an extension of a single consciousness that is manifesting out into a billion forms of the universe that we see here now. All the stars and the people and everything is all derivative of the same consciousness. And so in our tradition, we call this the dreaming. All this is the dreaming. Hence, we adopt this recognition that we are each in a dream. We are being dreamt by the universe herself. We call her Shakti. Shakti. Modern quantum physics calls this the hologram. Right? And these advanced spiritual traditions share the practice where we become awake inside of this dream. And by becoming awake, we get to be co-weavers. We sit down by the loom with old Spider Woman who's weaving the dreaming into being. And we learn how to participate in this alchemical, very mystical practice where we get to be co-creators, where in reality, in real time, we can see things manifest, shift, and change in accordance with our thoughts, our inner state, with how we are participating, right? Now you may ask, well, how is this a dream? How could this be a dream, right? Well, consider this, like just like when you dream, you are dreaming, right? When you are dreaming, you are creating people. You are creating places, you are creating animals, you are creating stories that all of your creation is moving through as you sleep. Well, so too, we are that creative dreaming of the universe herself, of Shakti. And hence the duality that we may see in the world is merely these varying qualities of Shakti manifesting in all the different forms, right? Just like we may recognize a chocolate cake, right? A chocolate cake is composed of icing and flour and eggs, right? And it is also composed of the story or the instructions of how to create chocolate cake. And it is also composed of the process that goes into creating chocolate cake, right? And so all these individual items and processes are part of that whole that make up chocolate cake. And so we too are merely a part of this greater dreaming of Shakti. We're just chocolate cake. See, what this offers you on this journey, this understanding that we're in a dream, is that it offers you an ability to transcend beyond the mind trap that keeps everyone in this self-defeated loop that is depleting themselves, exhausting themselves. We transcend this prison of the mind where we get to move beyond the adversarial and competitive mindsets of how we live life. And this gives you the ability to enter a state of flow and creative power within the dreaming that you uniquely are experiencing. And why this is important is because, and why I'm sharing this with you is because most yogic spiritual traditions operate within a mindset of duality called the Sankhya philosophy. And in that duality, there's good and there is bad, right? There's these opposing opposites that seem to be competing with each other and hence traps people into that adversarial mindset. So they enter a state where they need to conquer their life, conquer their relationships, conquer their spirituality, conquer their shadows, instead of saying, okay, I see all these as an extension of my dreaming, stewarding me on my path. So how can I lean in and be in relationship with these? What are their invitations? How are they stewarding me? So you enter a relational way. And this is a very indigenous way of being and approaching this. We're not here to conquer and train and push, but instead to come close in, to humble ourselves and say we are all an extension of this, and this is all an extension of me. So let's be in conversation with it. Let's pay attention to it. So you may consider right now in your life, where are you right now? Where you might feel you have obstacles or some challenges in your life? Where may you have an adversary in your life? Or what you be approaching as an adversary, right? See, these dualistic traditions, they go around saying neti neti, I'm not this, I'm not that, neti neti. But when we say I am not this, I am not that, immediately there is separation, and so the soul is split. And in that splitting, we experience what the indigenous call soul loss. We become orphaned. But in this tradition of Tantra, where we see all things emanating as the same thing, we are saying, I am that I am. I am that I am. In the mystic tradition of the Hebrews, they say, Ayak Ahirayak. I am that I am. And so we sing, I am Shiva, you are Shiva, all are Shiva. And in this, there's a sense of grounding in to this old sense of belonging that weaves us back into the web of life and the dreaming that brings us back into a space of wholeness. Right? Where these dualistic traditions are saying neti neti, another thing they're saying is like, well, I am not this story. They're trying to separate themselves from the story being lived in experience. But here we're saying we're going into the story. We're going in to say, okay, if I'm in a dream and I am being dreamt, how may I allow myself to be claimed by this dreaming? How may I be claimed by the story that I uniquely am living out through the dreaming of Shakti? And how may I let that steward me into the potential and growth that is already inside of me? Right? And so you can see the valuable importance of discerning between these understandings of when we might enter and associate with being in dualism, competition, and how can we reground into this greater awareness that all things are one, right? In India, when a child is crying, mothers will tell that child that there's a ghost in the room. And the child will quiet because they say if you cry, the ghost knows where you are, so the child quiets. What happens there is the mother just gave an image and a story to that child then carries for many years. So likely we have been given the story that we are separate from the content of life, from others, from the land, from the story being lived through you. So part of this work that we are doing is we are breaking enchantments. And we are reclaiming a kind of sovereignty with the relationship we can have with spirit expressing through us, around us, within others. As the indigenous say, we are remembering ourselves home, where we may join old Spider Woman at her loom as she weaves the dreaming into being. So in this tantric view, we are recognizing we are in a dream and we are being dreamt by Shakti herself. And that our dreaming is contributing something very specific to the world. And so we are now getting curious. What is the story we are in and how is that contributing to the greater dreaming? What ingredient of the chocolate cake of Shakti might we be? Oh, okay.